Act fast. Don't wait. Order it now.
Call 1-800-608-6630. That's 1-800-608-6630. Call or visit slimmintwallet.com. So call 1-800-608-6630 now.
More specific, but
I get the point that
humorous.
You think women are out of control. I got it.
No. I said radical feminists are out of control. Be clear. And they are. That's why they're bringing their children to drag stripper shows.
Let me ask about a couple of things.
Do you think that's okay? Do you think it's okay to sexualize children at drag stripper shows?
I don't think the children are being sexualized if they go to a drag show. No, I just don't think that that's the sexualization
you don't
of
think
children.
That you don't think children are being? Would it be okay for me as a grown adult male to take underage kids to a regular strip club?
I don't think they're allowed, no.
So why are they allowed to do it in but why aren't they allowed?
Royce.
Why aren't they allowed? Is it because of the alcohol or because of the sexualization?
I don't know the laws around strip clubs. I couldn't tell you. But Royce, if
maybe you should learn them, though, because you're talking about drag shows. You have an opinion about the drag shows, and you say that's completely fine.
Royce, you brought them up.
But you have an opinion about it.
I'm going to have to mute you, Royce. I'm going to have to mute you.
I will be your shield in the fiercest battle. I'll defend you from all these arrows, and the sword I wield will keep you from danger. Let me be your shield.
Royce White is speaking truth to power.
We will not give up a single rank guaranteed under the Constitution.
You know I'm always going to talk about the real things. Okay. Free the Uyghurs.
If I'm gonna die, I'll die now, right here fighting you.
Let me be your shield, let me be your shield.
What's wrong in this country is our sense of American citizenship is lost. It's lost in convenience.
Let me be your shield, let me be.
Convenience will be the death of freedom. This is my show. And on my show, I control the conversation. Welcome back to the Royce White Show. I'm your host, Royce White, here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. You're watching Real America's Voice, headquarters of the Ultra MAGA and America First movement. We are happy to have you here for another weekend. We have War Room and the great Steve Bannon at the top of the hour. It's such an honor to be able to open up on Saturday mornings here, Real America's Voice for the great Steve Bannon. In the cold open there is infamous political pundit, podcaster, commentator David Pakman, and he and I had a debate about a year ago. It's a pretty old clip. I played it for a reason. And I want to say to open up here this morning, because I'm always one to sound the alarm. I'm always the one to say, hey, wait, we got to check our ranks. We got to make sure everybody is marching to the same tune here. We got to make sure we've sorted out all the ideas, and we're going to sort some of them out today. But today I want to talk about something I normally don't talk about. You know, weekend after weekend after weekend, I come on, I talk about the problem we have inside the party, the neocons, the rhinos, the rats, the Republicans against Trump that are laying in the weeds, biding their time, you know, just waiting for their moment to strike. But today, in the last week, the noise has really mounted from the left, and they're trying to make a roaring comeback from the mayoral candidates, the Democrat socialists, and let's just call them what they are, they're commies. The commies running for mayor, they're in New York City and also here in Minneapolis. And even this the Sydney Sweeney ad thing. We're going to talk some culture today. I usually don't talk culture because culture, culture wedge issues, they're like pro wrestling, The signal from the noise is always how the money works. This plays a role in that. And I want to say to begin this morning, never forget where we came from. Never forget where we came from. Never forget what we faced, what we overcame, and never forget what's still waiting out there for us if we slip up, if we get comfortable, if we get lazy, if we get arrogant. This is where we came from, the David Pakmans of the world. We almost let them take the country. Well, in fact, we did let them take the country, and then we let them get brazen about it, and then we almost let them take the country for good. And we have to be ever vigilant and realize this man right here saved us. You know, you could say what you want, and absolutely there's more than enough criticism to go around. If I was president of the United States, I would be criticized left and right. Hell, they'd be able to find so many clips to bring up from me from my 20s and here in my 30s of me saying something flying off the handle at some political event or what. It'd be nonstop. But we cannot shy away from these people. We let things go too far. If there's one thing I can say that is in sync with what we've talked about on the show over the last year and a half is increasingly, we want less politicians to be in office. What do I mean? We want less professional, sort of curated from central cast politicians to be in public office. We want people with dirt under their fingernails. We want people with some baggage. You know, what kind of baggage? Okay, that's up for debate. But we don't want people who have these squeaky clean records that come from the Ivy League. I'm sorry. And if you go to an Ivy League school, or you went to an Ivy League school and you have a squeaky clean record, I'm not saying that makes you a bad person by default. But what I am saying is where we are today in America, we saw a run where the establishment, the permanent political class, was able to select from people who were very polished and eventually ended up being puppets. We don't want the Mitt Romneys. Sorry, Mitt. Sorry, I'm not sorry. And it's the same thing, you know, here with the David Pakman. Sure, is he educated? You know, you could argue that he is. I don't really think he's that educated, to be honest. What is education, right? I mean, who's telling the information and teaching in an information war? That's something we still have to sort out. And I know that we're trying to get the Department of Education and our schooling under control. But, you know, we really have given them a 3-generation head start with pushing this communism and Marxism. And what I'm showing you in the beginning of this clip, again, where we came from, he was just going to lie. You know, he'll just not even lie. He's just, you know, brazenly saying there's nothing wrong with bringing children to drag shows where they're stripping. There's nothing wrong with bringing kids to drag stripper shows. That's not the sexualization of children. And I mean, he's so matter of fact about it. It's almost scary that he even has a YouTube following and a public social media following the way that he does. And he does have a pretty big following. You know, you can look into it yourself. His YouTube channel, and I'm sure on X and other places, he's got a following. But the scary thing is that became normal. You know, I've switched my campaign slogan for 2026 to "Remember Normal." And here, even in the opening bid with "Remember Normal" as a campaign slogan, was normal great? No, normal wasn't great. Normal was actually us being say passively involved in the political process. Normal was us not paying attention to the overlords and the oligarchs to try and wrestle control the last little bit of freedom from us that we had. So normal wasn't great, but normal sure was a whole hell of a lot better than what we're dealing with now, and a whole hell of a lot better than the David Pakmans of the world that tried to normalize taking little children to drag stripper shows. I mean, that's where we came from. And he's not an anomaly. You know, he's not the exception to the rule. The entire Democrat platform was in lockstep around that cultural wedge issue. And people like myself had to fight against that. Now, you see that and you ask yourself, well, wow, how did an Amy Klobuchar, who is also in lockstep with those kinds of ideas, how did an Amy Klobuchar beat you in Minnesota? Well, it's the same as we're going to have to deal with in the schools. It's going to take a few runs at it. It's going to take a few attempts to beat these people in certain places. Now, in 2024, I said the referendum was on the American people, and the American people answered the call. In 2026, the referendum is going to be on the Republican Party in all of the swing states. The National Republican Party as well, to emphasize the swing states, but then to redefine the message again, refine the message again, hone in on the message again, take the message to another level so that in these swing states we don't drop the ball and face the same sort of political football, so to speak, that we do every presidential cycle. You win the presidency, and then the midterms, things get shaky, and then we got a rebound effect on the end of things, and we don't want to deal with that. We want a good 40-year run right here, a good 30 to 40-year run of America First and MAGA policy, and let's see how good this country can become. Remember normal. Normal used to be hey, there were gay people, there were lesbians, there were even cross-dressers, which was far out there when I was growing up in the 90s. I'm only 34 years old. Even 15 years ago when I was a teenager, cross-dressing was way, way out there for, the norm. But these things existed. It existed here in Minnesota. Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, is one of the biggest LGBTQ cities per capita in the entire country. So I'm no stranger to the LGBTQ's fight to have rights and not be persecuted and whatnot. That's not what we're dealing with here. We were dealing with an attempt to normalize the predation and sexualization of little children. And we should hold no quarter for it. I mean, I saw so many conservatives, they watch the debate and they go, well, he tripped you up on a few questions. It's like, if you say that you're okay with the sexualization of little children, you lose the debate by default. You don't have to have another point. You don't have to have any more talk. They should have just stopped the debate right there. It's his show, so he was in control of it. But in your mind, if you're watching that and you go, well, I don't think that it's anything, untoward to bring a 4-year-old to a drag show where they're dressed in lingerie, it's like you shouldn't even really be a part of the public discussion. And only for the example of how terrible things have become. Remember normal? Remember when we wanted to protect and shield our kids from things? Remember when you were at the movie theater and you were in a movie that was, let's say, PG-13 or whatever the case may be, and even in a PG-13 movie where the nudity or intimacy was a little bit, over the top for your grandparents and parents, the adult would try and take his hand or his arm and shield the kid's eyes from whatever was inappropriate. I mean, remember that? And was it so bad that our parents were trying to shield us from growing up too quick? I don't think so. 2026 is the referendum on the Republican Party. Remember normal. Remember normal. Sydney Sweeney, normal. American Eagle, normal. Good genes. We're going to talk about eugenics and genes and race and all of that on the other side of the break. Again, you're watching the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice, headquarters of the Ultra Mag and America First movement. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
How does the world's most trusted dog expert keep his own dog so healthy?
Hi, I am Cesar Milan. In my 20 years rehabilitating dogs, I've seen too many struggle with health problems that no amount of training could fix. Then I discovered it wasn't the dog, it was their food. Fortunately, I found veterinarian Dr. Marty's Anti-Kibble Breakthrough.
Nature's Blend is packed with whole foods that are freeze-dried, locking in nutrients.
I saw remarkable improvements in my dogs within weeks.
Try Dr. Marty risk-free for 90 days. Plus, get a free gift when you call or visit drmartypets.com/Caesar.
Kevin paid off over $12,000 in credit card debt with the help of Consolidated Credit. They cut his interest rates and lowered his payments so he could pay off his debt fast. Call 800-596-8062 for a free consultation.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere to fix that? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast, so strong, and so convenient. It's like putting the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires of your car on a single charge, or inflate a bag full of soccer balls at practice. Bullseye Pro is so advanced, it has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Plus, it can be 100% hands-free. You simply set the target pressure and walk away, keeping you out of harm's way. Bullseye Pro is lightweight, durable, and powerful enough to inflate this massive monster truck tire. Plus, it has 4 ultra-bright LED lights to safely inflate at night. Bullseye Pro comes with 3 custom air nozzles on board, so you can easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Forget driving to the gas station. Bullseye Pro is your anywhere, anytime inflation station. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system, all for the factory direct price of just $79.99. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. But to really inflate this offer, we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. You get it all. An incredible value for one low price. Call or go online to order now.
To order, call 1-800-976-9718 or go to getbullseyepro.com. So call 1-800-976-9718. That's 1-800-976-9718 or order online at getbullseyepro.com. Order now.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show. I'm your host here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. You're watching Real America's Voice, headquarters of the Ultra MAGA and America First movement. Remember normal. That's the theme for the 2026 Senate campaign, running against what it looks most likely to be Congresswoman Angie Craig, coming out of Congressional District 2 here in the state of Minnesota. And she is, of course, an openly married lesbian. And so, again, we don't care what you're doing in your bedroom. This is America. Do we have opinions? Yeah. Do we have a moral opinion about it? As Christians? Yeah. As regular people? There are regular people who have opinions about such things as well. Yeah, we can have our opinions, but, it pretty much stops there. Only God can judge us. What I can say is that people who are, sort of publicly and openly using the LGBTQ identity as the lead in their political campaigns or their political profile, we know how they're going to vote, right? And we can ask the Angie Craigs of the world, or even worse, the Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, who was infamous for having the "Protect Trans Kids" with the knife on her T-shirt. Just these people are kind of psycho and violent when you really dig deep. We know how they'll vote. That's the issue. We know that they don't remember normal, or they have completely repudiated what we would call normal. And some of that makes sense. Again, we have to thread the needle here. We have to go and tell the people in the inner cities all across the country, continue to teach and educate and say, you know what? The normal you came from, we were against too. We didn't fully understand that the George Bushes of the world were the real enemy. We didn't really understand that the Mitch McConnells of the world were the real enemy. If we did, we wouldn't have continue to vote for him. So even we had to have a learning curve on just the sort of secret treachery that's going on in American politics and in America's, permanent political elite, whether they be financial or academic or whatever the case may be. All of us, were somewhere different 20 years ago. But you all specifically, have a very unique and particular type of information war and brainwashing that was waged against you. And the Angie Craigs of the world, for example, are obviously going to perpetuate that. And I just tell people in Minnesota, I'm running this campaign. I go, aren't you guys tired of this yet? Aren't you tired of the LGBTQ propaganda being pushed in the schools? Is Minnesota going to be the last bastion where the communists revolt and take out all of their frustration from losing the country out on the people here in Minnesota? Are we going to let that be our legacy here in this state? And I ask that to Republicans mostly because the Republican establishment, they fear me like the Black Plague. Oh, why? You get a young, articulate Black man who can actually put a cease to the Harlem Globetrotter and Washington Generals controlled opposition political theater, and there's nothing more dangerous. There's nothing more threatening to the status quo. And so the Minnesota GOP, which is in disarray, not only were they on the record for having a person who endorsed Kamala Harris on their payroll in the 2024 cycle. Now they're putting up Adam Schwarzy, who is the leading other Republican candidate for the Senate nomination. And he was on Nikki Haley's congressional team. And not only was he on her team, he actually had the audacity to publicly say he gave permission for his name to be used as a support, a community leader, document or press release. He gave permission for his name to be used, but he didn't realize that he was going to be supporting Nikki Haley if he did so. I mean, these people are dishonest. They're liars. I mean, they'll lie right through their teeth. And the reason why I bring it up again is, you get a young guy, relatively younger guy like Adam Schwarzy, did 20 years in the Navy, and you can sort of draw upon that love of military from all the conservatives and Republicans, and he can say all the right things about, peace through strength and all of the missions that he did and then Iraqi freedom, and all of a sudden you have this consensus that this is a guy we can trust. Well, hopefully Minnesotans are smarter than that, and hopefully we realize for the last 30 years, the Republican Party here has been the Washington Generals. We have a chance to win. We actually have a chance. Do you have a chance to beat Angie Craig? I don't think people want another lesbian senator. And it's not that people don't like lesbians or hateful towards lesbians. It's just we're sick of those politics. We're sick of that identity game. And again, I bring that all up as a preface to talking about this Sydney Sweeney situation, which I guess I don't pay close enough attention to social media and all of the trending topics to really be right on top of things. So I caught on to this late, and for the life of me, I just didn't even understand what the point was, what the big gripe was. I saw all of these black women coming online saying that this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney was offensive. And so I started to dig into it. I'm going, man, this is a smoking hot looking young lady. And the ad doesn't say anything offensive. And I don't really understand what's even being said here. Maybe I'm not paying close enough attention, or maybe I'm so far removed from the woke Marxist propaganda that I'm just living in a different world than these people. What is going on here with this Sydney Sweeney ad? And I dug in a little deep, and then I started to listen to what people were actually saying. And supposedly the claim is that there's a dog whistle, a racist dog whistle for eugenics, because the advertisement said, Sydney Sweeney has good genes, and it's like a play on words with genes, genetic genes, denim genes, genetic genes, and just, I take some of this stuff kind of personal. If you're going to piss on me and tell me it's champagne, fine. But you got to kiss me while you do it. You can't double and triple down. There's nothing here. This is the biggest nothing burger in recent American history. First of all, Sydney Sweeney is smoking hot. She's so pretty, it's almost ridiculous. Secondly, let's be clear. There is real racism. There are eugenicists out here. There are people who would rather not see the growth of the population in general, let alone black people in inner cities. Those people have names like Bill Gates, or you could say Dr. Fauci, or the entire sort of scientific establishment in our country has sort of given over to the idea of birth control, which is predominantly taking place through Planned Parenthood in the inner city. So there's kind of an implicit statement there that black people and Hispanics and whoever else that live in the inner cities should probably kill their children. That's kind of the implicit statement that's being made by the geographical layout of Planned Parenthood. And furthermore, I always bring this up, and people probably miss this because, mainstream media is in bed with these people. So there was one time I heard Bill Gates talking about population growth. And he said, population growth isn't necessarily the issue. The population looks like it's going to peter out right around 9 billion, 9.5 billion. We can handle that. The biggest problem is growth in places that can't handle it. population growth in places that can't handle it. And I'm sitting there going, oh, wait, I can't wait to hear this. Where is he talking about? Instantly, they went to an infographic with the list of countries. And every country on the list was an African and Arab country. I mean, it's almost like he was coming right out and saying, no, population growth isn't a problem. We just don't want any more Africans or Arabs breeding. And you know what? Look, I'm sympathetic because I really do see this population collapse or crisis, you could almost say, in the Western world, in Europe, and even here in America as a huge problem. You people need to have more children. Quit with the nihilism. Quit with I get it. Marriage, divorce rates, everything's turbulent and personal romantic relationships. So young men are very reluctant to get married. And as such, they're kind of reluctant to have children and whatnot. But we need more babies, more children. I just saw some headline the other day that they were paying black men to come to Japan to have babies because Japan has a population crisis, right? But there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, even to say that we have a population problem is an attack against Christ and God. It's very anti-human. And I bring that all up to say these people who are so upset with Sydney Sweeney and this American Eagle ad, I mean, they're just snowflakes. And even furthermore, it's just a distraction. It's a psyop that they feed down the tubes to the echo chambers and they let them have all this fake outrage about it. The reality is Sydney Sweeney's ad has nothing to do with the systematic things that are happening in this country or all around the world. Nothing whatsoever. And when did we become a country that hates beauty? When did we become a country that hates physical fitness and being healthy? When do we become a country that sort of repudiates good genetics? And there are good genetics. There's a difference between saying, hey, this person has some pretty good genes and saying, oh, well, we need to only make sure that we breed these people going forward. Those are two completely different things. And anytime they say, oh, well, it was a dog whistle, that means whatever somebody said really wasn't that racist, or it really wasn't that offensive, or they're trying to reach, they're stretching, they're trying to create, manufacture an outrage that's just not there. Because trust me, when something's really offensive, I mean blatantly offensive, you don't have to push it. People know. We have a sort of inherent, recognition when somebody's way over the line with something they say. All of this stuff has become so fake. We're going to talk about this Sydney Sweeney thing and more on the other side of the break. Again, you're watching the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice. I'm in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
When surprise breakdowns happen, American Home Shield will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your time and money by connecting you with qualified pros and helping pay for covered repairs or replacements. AHS offers flexible and affordable plans for every home. Sign up today and get 50% off. Visit ahs.com or call 833-PLAN-AHS for this limited time offer.
Is your body ready for summer?
We're gonna build a body you can be proud of.
You just give me 30 minutes a day for 21 days, and I promise you, the weight will come off.
This is 21 Day Fix, the perfect program to get you summer ready.
I am in perfect shape for my bikini.
I had that sexy little beef.
Get simple fitness, simple nutrition, fast results in just 21 days.
Get ready for summer with 21 Day Fix. This week, try it free at 21dayfix.com. That's 21dayfix.com.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active than before? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System that combines the incredible effects of vibrational therapy, targeted deep tissue shiatsu massage, plus soothing infrared heat. A triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Look at these beads moving from the powerful vibrational motors.
It's like 1,000 little fingers just vibrating my body from head to toe.
Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax.
Remedy gets in there and helps deal with the source of the pain, so you feel much better.
The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 infrared heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it.
It's just something that you're gonna have to feel for yourself.
Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
You push it. You try to hold them shut, but your doors won't stay closed no matter what. Introducing Ruby Monkey Magnets. Ultra-thin magnetic plates that will keep your doors and drawers shut. Just peel to reveal the super strong adhesive. Place the monkey, then the magnet, and close. Installation is that simple, and now you have a door that will stay shut. The secret is the ultra-strong industrial magnet's powerful attraction that holds tight. Monkey magnets work on most surfaces and are perfect for cabinets, dresser drawers, sliding closet doors, and more. Even your outdoor problems are solved in an instant because they're corrosion and rust resistant. Call or go online now to get 8 sets of monkey magnets for only $9.99. Due to rising costs, this may be your last chance to get monkey magnets at this low price. There is a strict limit of 1 house pack per order. Call now.
Call 1-800-519-4389. That's 1-800-519-4389. Call or visit at monkeymagnets.com. So call 1-800-519-4389 now.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show. I'm your host, Royce White, here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. You're watching Real America's Voice. This is the headquarters of the Ultra MAGA, and America First movement. Sydney Sweeney, she's gorgeous. Yeah, listen, we organize a boycott if American Eagle pulls the ad or if they apologize. Sydney Sweeney, you better not apologize. Apologize for what? All this apologize for being white is so corny. And I'm not just saying that because the Republican base is mostly white. Hell, the Democrat base is mostly white liberals too. Let's not forget that black people and black communities are one of the most under-participating demographics in presidential and political elections nationwide. White liberals make up the vast majority of the Democrat base. White liberal women. And all of this, what kind of racket do you think you're running? It's the same thing. I couldn't imagine. I just watched it. This is why a lot of these Democrats and these young black men are fleeing the Democrat Party, because the logic doesn't square. And sure, if you give a person enough of anything for free on the front end, they'll take it and sort of ask questions later. But eventually that runs dry, especially when you can no longer keep the promises you make. Right. And that's the Democrat Party. They promised black people prosperity as long as they could use the race, narrative to assume control of the government. And when you don't make good on the promises, people start asking questions, and then you got to be able to square the logic. The logic doesn't square. And it started with Joe Biden and their illegitimate regime. It goes back to Barack Obama, though. But it started with Joe Biden. It really came to a head with Joe Biden. And you're going to tell me Donald Trump is racist? Joe Biden's reading the eulogy at the KKK Bird's funeral? Are you kidding me? If you don't vote for me, you're not black? Black people all across the country started going, whoa, wait a second. And I still think we need, again, as a side note, get rid of the machines. What are we waiting for? The Democrats told us the machines could be hacked. We know what happened in 2020. In 2024, they held off on the cheating because everybody was watching. We know what you did. We know the millions of voters that just magically disappeared. They didn't not come out to vote. There wasn't under participation in the presidential election in 2024. You held back the cheating because the American people were sitting right up on the edge of their seat, just waiting for anything to be funky in how things went down that night. We were just on the edge of our seats, just waiting. The establishment knows. They're watching. They're watching you. They're watching you through your phone. They're watching you through your television. They're watching you in ways that you can't even imagine. And while we are at it and getting rid of the machines, go to single-day vote. And while we're at it, repeal the Patriot Act. Let's put some teeth to this administration quick. And the administration is doing great. I saw the other day, there's so many good things happening with this administration. I can't even name them all. There's still some great things to do, and we should do them. Get rid of the machines. We're done with it. We know we're not going to leave the door open for these people to cheat us. We know what's going on. Get rid of the machines. Amy Klobuchar and Kamala Harris told you. The Russians hacked the machines, didn't they? Oh, wait. That was a part of a deep state intelligence community psyop to try and undermine President Trump's first term. Oh, I forgot. But the machines are still a problem. Despite that being a deep state lie, the machines are a problem. Yeah, the machines don't even have a chain of custody that's equal to your local slot machine at a casino. So we got to get rid of the machines and repeal the Patriot Act. My whole point is, again, the PSYOP has run deep, and the go-to move is race. You're going to see all of these videos now pop up of police being a little too aggressive and forceful with citizens when they don't need to. You're going to see a black guy who's unarmed get shot and killed. And I don't say it like it's nothing. It's a tragic thing and it's a problem, but it's all a part of a way to control the reins of this country and oscillate American politics, because American politics and America is the bastion of freedom. If the globalists can get their way, the only way is to go through America. America has to crumble. America has to fall before they can have their way. It's a simple equation. America, we don't give in. We don't. Again, I'll tell you, I was becoming familiar with AI a couple of weeks back, and I asked AI, I said, if you were to take over, if artificial intelligence was to try and take over the world, which country's values would pose the greatest threat? And AI said, not necessarily a country in particular, but as far as a country's values go, America's number one. Why? Because Americans have a staunch sense of freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, and we're very skeptical of authority. Freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, and skepticism of authority. Those were the three reasons AI gave why America and our values would be the greatest threat posed to artificial intelligence taking over. It's funny that all three things the Democrats and the liberal establishment wants to get rid of. They don't want us to have freedom of speech. They don't want us to have the Second Amendment. And more or less, they don't want us to have a general skepticism of authority unless a Republican, or even more accurately, a MAGA patriot like Donald Trump is in office. They want us to go along with the program. We're not going along with the program. And as sure as I'm sitting here, and as long as I draw breath, I will never allow these corrupt, slimy Democrats use black people as the tip of the spear. Not gonna happen. Sorry, it ain't gonna happen. And if you guys want to play who's the blackest, who's got the street card in the city and all of it, but be my guest. Be my guest. I came up in a neighborhood where they sold crack. I came up in a neighborhood where people were shot and killed, where stray bullets hit little kids in their living rooms. I grew up in a neighborhood where after a certain hour, you really didn't want to be outside. I grew up in a neighborhood where black people know, despite what the liberal media says, when you're walking around the neighborhood and you see some black folks that you don't know, you do have to be kind of on guard. That's the reality. And we have to fix that. And we can fix that. There are ways to fix that. And the Republican Party must invest in that education. We must invest in fixing that. We can't leave it to leave them to their fate. No. That's not Christian. That's not American. We must push the gospel and the Constitution as far as we possibly can. That takes courage. But we're not going to let these Democrats shame us with their woo-woo either. I mean, that's just not going to happen. Again, I go back to Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. We saw it loud and clear. But it goes back to Obama. And this one really, the most progressive president in American history had the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. Bailed out the bad guys. Bush, bailed up. But, Bush, Obama, birds of a feather. There's a reason why they have these ex-president, I don't know what you want to call them, PSAs, right? During COVID, get vaccinated, these ex-president PSAs, and they get together the good old boys club of Clinton and Bush and Obama. Or, to take it even a step further back, they pull in Jimmy Carter and they pull in, these guys are all a part of the exact same agenda. They are the WWE politics that intentionally oscillated this country's, political culture, political worldview. It was intentional. They did it on purpose. They did it on purpose. They knew what they were doing. The academics said it. This isn't happenstance. The managed decline of the West. Barack Obama was the most progressive president in American history, yet was responsible for or oversaw the greatest transfer of wealth. And tell me one time when the Democrats were in power that they went after the top 1%. Anybody out there? Tell me one time when the Democrats were in power and they really put forward some legislation with teeth that went after the top 1% in this country. It didn't happen. The reason it didn't happen is because those people are their donor base, which is increasingly significant to American politics. They loved the transfer of wealth to the top 1%. I don't care what the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders say. Doesn't matter what they say. It matters what they do. It matters what legislation comes from the party when the party's in control. And we have to be conscious of the same thing right here, right now, while we're in power. What we do now will have consequences. The race narrative is shot. It's shot to hell. People are sick of it. People are sick of it. We don't care about Sydney Sweeney. We don't care about Sydney Sweeney in a jeans ad. I think the jeans ad was great. Sydney Sweeney's she's a beauty. Love her. Don't know her personally. She looks incredible. Maybe she's a terrible person. I don't know, but I can't tell that from the jeans ad. And let's just be clear, okay? Yeah. The eugenics movement is certainly a repudiation of God in Christ. We know that. So why are all these people still shilling for the Darwinists? Why do you hear these black people talking about the superiority of the black race? You're just trying to copy your enemy. And it's the same thing I hear with, like the Nick Fuentes types. It's like, well, when Europe penetrated sub-Saharan Africa, there were no two-story buildings, like as if two-story buildings are the definition of humanity in God's eye. These people aren't Christian. I'm just telling y'all what it really is. Teaching Darwin in the schools, teaching the evolutionary theory was the first great shot at God in Genesis. Darwin is an anti-Christian movement, and when you step back, when you start to really peel back the onion, you find Sir Galt and all these Freemasons that were there to help bring about and manufacture the academic idea of Darwinism. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that and much more in a few moments here. Stay tuned. You're watching The Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice. Tip of the spear, Ultra MAGA movement. We'll be back in a moment.
Stay tuned to get a free automatic toilet bowl cleaner from Mermaid. Your sink stopper's broken, and fixing a drain is a pain. Introducing Mermaid Drain Magic, the instant solution to most broken drains. Just remove and replace. In seconds, you can fill and drain with a simple press of a button. Drain Magic makes replacing your old, broken, rusty, even missing sink stoppers fast and easy. Drain Magic's anti-clogging basket helps prevent clogs in your sink, catching hair, food, even jewelry. Made with brass and chrome and a silicone gasket, it creates a watertight seal. Order your Mermaid Drain Magic today for only $19.99 and get a Mermaid toilet bowl cleaner absolutely free. Drop it in the tank for up to 3 months of cleaning. But wait, this could be your last chance to get Drain Magic at this low price with free toilet bowl cleaner. There's a strict limit of 3, so order now.
Call 1-800-519-4303 or visit GetDrainMagic.com. So call 1-800-519-4303 or visit GetDrainMagic.com. Order now.
Attention homeowners. Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Is the bank threatening to take your home? Is your home worth less than you owe? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need to call this number right now.
Call 800-714-8615.
Kevin paid off over $12,000 in credit card debt with the help of Consolidated Credit. They cut his interest rates and lowered his payments so he could pay off his debt fast. Call 800-596-8062 for a free consultation.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
For your free author submission kit, call 1-800-319-0257. That's 1-800-319-0257. 1-800-319-0257. Call now.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active? Introducing the Easy Well Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show. I'm your host here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and you are watching Real America's Voice, headquarters of the Ultra MAGA and America First movement. At the top of the hour, we have the great Stephen K. Bannon in War Room. We're happy that you joined us here another weekend. I'm sorry I don't have a lot of guests. I only get one day a week, and I love to just monologue. I just come in here and monologue because I have a lot on my mind. We're going to try and get to a daily show, and then we'll have guests, and we'll do the whole thing. But sometimes I just want to come and talk to the American people. I hope I can become a voice for the American people, a genuine voice. Remember normal? Remember normal when you saw a new ad for jeans and you barely even thought about it, much less had a deep, passionate opinion about it, that somehow you were offended that, oh my goodness, when they say jeans, they really mean eugenics. It's like nobody cares that the real eugenicists like Bill Gates are spraying our crops or releasing genetically modified mosquitoes. I mean, nobody cares about that type of scientific eugenics. We are going to point all of our frustration towards this cute young white woman and say, you're the problem with America. You're an example of America's racism. Give me a break. You people are snowflakes. And what it tells me mostly is you really don't want to change anything. See, and that's what really starts to grind my gears is I know that you don't really want change. That's the whole point of it. It's not even about your opinion and whether they meant something by genes or not. I mean, I thought it was kind of funny. Even if you say she's got good genes, again, I kind of think she does have good genes. I mean, as a basketball player and an athlete, it's like, well, I got good genes. I got good athletic genes. I mean, there's athletic genes. I got green eyes. Those are genes. So I'm not really sure. And intelligence does seem to be something that's passed along a lot of times. So I'm not really sure what they mean by genes is a bad thing in the general sense. Again, I kind of just get the sense that you guys are trying to distract us from the real issues. That's what's going on here. That's what this is all about. It's just a distraction. You're just trying to keep our eye off the ball. You'll say anything to undermine President Trump's economic achievements in the first part of this second term. You'll say anything to take our focus off the fact that you claim that prices were going to soar from tariffs, and all of a sudden we see all this revenue coming in that this country hasn't seen in decades. You want to take our eye off the fact that despite all of the attempts from the liberal mainstream media to coalesce us around an effort to fight in wars that we don't want to be in, the American people are speaking up and saying, you know what? We're fed up with these wars. We're fed up with these wars. We don't trust the security state. We don't trust the intelligence community. You want to keep our eyes off of the fact that President Obama most likely ran an unconstitutional and treasonous coup against President Donald Trump. You want to keep our eye off the ball. And then they're, first thing they'll go to is, Epstein. Well, what happens when they actually, when they come with this 100 names that Ghislaine Maxwell supposedly sat down with the DOJ and testified about? And what happens when they unseal these documents? What happens when they can no longer talk about Epstein? What happens when Donald Trump, it becomes more common knowledge that, again, Donald Trump probably in so many ways led to the takedown of Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, that's what Jeffrey Epstein himself thought from sources that were close to him, that Donald Trump cooperated with investigators and journalists that ultimately led to the charges that Jeffrey Epstein faced there in Florida, which then led to the indictment, the federal indictment that he faced later on. So, I mean, what happens when Epstein's no longer in the conversation? And we better be sorting that out. I'm not saying that we're looking away from that either. We better sort that out. But what happens when that's off the table? What are they going to go to then? Well, what's going to be the excuse then? Race. It's going to continue to be race. I keep saying the reason why it's so important, if for nothing else, you talk about the numbers, when it comes to these elections and the swing states and the inner cities, the metropolitan areas, if for nothing else, it's important to recruit young, Black, young Hispanic conservatives, young, Black, young Hispanic MAGA patriots. It's important to recruit them, get them in the process, and continue to educate in those places. It's important for no other reason than when push comes to shove, they always try and use race every single time. It's so played out. It's so corny. It just doesn't pass the sniff test. I mean, let's just be honest. It doesn't pass. Am I saying that all cops are good cops? No. I've met some cops that are terrible cops. I met some Black cops that are terrible cops. I've seen some Black cops beat the living crap out of some Black people. I mean, you're talking about a power dynamic between citizens and the government, which in some ways is a reflection of how we've let the government get out of control writ large. And people don't even want to have that conversation because we're so roped into the pro wrestling, Black versus white, while we make off with the green. I was just texting the great Steve Bannon and said, this is the classic move. Watch it. Watch it. As sure as the sun will rise, they will revert back to the race narrative. Black versus white, pit Black versus white while we make off with the green. Not this time. Not this time. We like Sydney Sweeney. We like Sydney Sweeney's jeans. We like the ad. We like retro denim. We love a good retro. We love a good Canadian tuxedo. We don't care too much for the socialist and communist Canadians, but we love a good Canadian tuxedo. I mean, Minnesota's almost honorary Canada in ways that I'm not even so proud of because we lean a little leftist and socialist. I mean, we have Omar Fateh. We hopefully don't elect a communist mayor, another communist mayor here in the city of Minneapolis. But, I mean, we love a good Canadian tuxedo. Cut it out. Remember normal? There was normal. There used to be normal. There used to be, this is America. This is a place where people can express themselves artistically. They can say what they want. They can say what they believe. They can tell jokes. Remember jokes? Remember when people used to tell jokes and everybody wasn't offended and didn't have a political opinion about the jokes? Remember when people used to just talk to one another? Well, I mean, it's indicative of the slow and managed decline. Not even slow, I'd say the rapid decline, actually. You look at it from a certain perspective. The rapid decline, but the managed rapid decline of the West and of America. Remember when you used to be able to leave your door unlocked? I don't even remember that. In the 90s, you couldn't even leave your doors unlocked. But I am told there was a time where people could leave their doors unlocked. Remember when you could leave your doors unlocked? Remember normal? We got to get back to normal. The only part that we have to leave out of a return to normal is the sleeping giant. The quiet corruption of the American DC Uniparty. Because they were a part of the status quo as well. They used to do a better job of delivering on their promises. They used to do a better job of squaring the logic. They used to do a better job of the propaganda, or maybe we all just weren't paying attention. But it seems to me that they used to do a better job of lying to you. That's the eternal challenge for Satan, is to try and uphold the lie. There's two things about human beings. Two things that we deeply desire freedom, and we deeply desire the truth. Even when convenience feels good, even when convenience seems like the obvious choice, there's something in us. There's something in the few and far between, the Donald Trumps of the world who didn't have to run for president, didn't have to run for it the first time, didn't have to run for it the second and third time to try and help save the country. But there's something in us that deeply rejects corruption and lies, and we want the truth and we want freedom. It's inherent in us. There's a little clock, and even when the masses are sort of brainwashed, you see these lights pop up all across society, these people that go, wait a minute, remember normal? Is anything wrong with Sydney Sweeney? I don't think so. I see all these ads these days, and they're trying to glorify fat people. And it's like you can't even say fat people. You're fat. I don't know what else to tell you. Don't tell me, oh, it's genetic. No pun intended to the topic we're talking about today, the eugenicists movement. Only eugenics I see is somebody has been in charge of making us all fat. You're fat. And there's so many the funny thing is there's so many fat people. Obesity is so normal in America. As a person who's running for elected office, the consultants and experts would tell me you can't even say the word fat because you may offend too many of the people you need to vote for you. Let me tell you, you're too fat. And I don't want to hear about your genetics or your build or your grandma was fat, so you're fat. No. There's a reason why you look at the malnourished kids in Central Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. They don't eat that much. They don't eat well, so they're not fat. They're moving their bodies. They're not fat. They're malnourished. They're skinny, super skinny. Food and what you eat is what determines the amount that you weigh. It's not rocket science. Don't let them tell you it's rocket science. I don't need Dr. Fauci and gain-of-function research and a bunch of other esoteric scientific BS to tell me how it works. I put bad food, fat food, sugar. They used to say, oh, red meat is bad. The fatty meat is bad. No, it was sugar the whole time. The original drug trade was the sugar trade. They pass it off as normal. Everything needs sugar. No, it doesn't. You don't need sugar. It's been another episode of the Royce White Show. Remember normal. You got the great Steve Bannon in War Room coming up next. We appreciate you. God bless America. Godspeed. We can't wait to see you next Saturday. Same time, same place. The fight continues. The people are coming. Remember normal.
Why aren't you getting results? Random workouts, overtraining muscles, completely missing others, wasted time. Don't do that. Do this. This is 25 Minute Speed Train. Follow me for just 25 minutes a day, 7 days a week, with minimal equipment, and get actual results.
Look at the definition. I didn't have these arms at high school.
Subscribe to Body in the next 24 hours for less than 50 cents a day and get 25 Minute Speed Train free at bodywithani.com.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Be part of a historic event. Join Lech Walesa, Nobel Peace Prize winner and one of the world's greatest leaders, on his first ever grand lecture tour across North America. Meet the global hero who changed the course of history and inspired millions. Now, the greatest challenges of our time lie ahead. Walesa will take you behind the scenes of one of history's greatest turning points to draw lessons for a future we must build together. Register now at historyexplorer.com.
Rav Family, from the group who brought you the hit songs 81 Million Votes, My Ass, MAGA Nation, and Trader Joe, comes a brand new single. Daddy Trump is available everywhere, and we need you to make some noise. Go download it on iTunes, and let's run it up to #1 on the charts for President Trump.
So I just want to thank everybody very much. Thank you.
Get ready. You're about to get bombed by the truth bomber.
Didn't raise y'all, but I had to step up. Put the Ayatollah on a no-cap checkup. He calls me Daddy Trump. NATO knows what's up. Why they played pretend, I call they bluff. Kim and Vlad acting bad, throwing fits on the floor. BB screaming from the back, saying, Daddy, there's a war. I walk in like Sunday school.
Texas Republicans, following the demands of President Trump, unveiled a new congressional map this week that could hand the GOP 5 additional House seats, each drawn in areas Trump carried by double digits. And the plan is moving quickly. After a marathon hearing on Friday, the committee could vote to approve the maps today, setting up a full House vote as early as this Tuesday before it heads to the Texas State Senate. California Governor Gavin Newsom has already signaled he's prepared to respond, floating a congressional map that could pick up 6 Democratic House seats if Texas moves forward. And Texas Democrats are not holding back, calling out the Republicans' blatantly political moves.
This is not a Texas map. It is a Trump map. It was not requested by any Republican or any Democrat in Texas. It was imposed by President Trump, who has a stranglehold on Congress. And the only question here is whether he also has a stranglehold on this Texas legislature.
The only way that you get here is by making sure that you trample upon the rights and the liberties and the voices of minorities.
What are we doing? How can we ignore what happened with the Guadalupe? How can we put that off and decide that gerrymandering is more important than taking care of the lives of those people? The people of Texas are not going to forget this.